If you guys haven't seen, Michael Bisping and Ariel Helwani have been going off on each other, and it's created quite a bit of drama in the MMA community. And actually, what's interesting is usually when fighters like Jamal Hill, for example, start going off about something on Twitter or a podcast, the fan base kind of collectively takes one side, but in this, you kind of see a 50-50, so it makes for a really interesting conversation. We're going to react to the clip today. We're going to take a look at the top replies to it. I'm going to react to them, give my thoughts, and I would love to know, as always, what you guys think about it down below afterwards. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with too many YouTube channels. Let's take a look at this post over here from Championship Rounds. Ariel Helwani went off on Michael Bisping, and I'm not going to go through the entire quote over here. We're just going to react to the clip, and I apologize, guys. I know some people get a little bit upset about this, but I have to pause throughout it a bunch of times in order for it to be fair use. That's the reasoning, and I know that I'm going to get a bunch of comments where it's like, oh my god, stop yapping and show the clip. I have to do that. I apologize.
Ariel Helwani's out there. A lot of the time, he's posting and tweeting like he's an expert on everything, but he knows nothing. He's putting feelers out there because that's what he wants to do. That's his badge of honor.
And this is like what Michael Bisping's talking about is Ariel Helwani just saying nothing about the McGregor fight, but it actually turned out that Ariel Helwani did know what he was talking about when it came to the McGregor fight, but it doesn't really change anything in my opinion. Ariel Helwani still is a deeply dishonest guy, and he's always kind of been like this. So the fair assumption was to assume that Ariel just wanted clicks.
As to break news. If I hear of a situation, I'm not doing investigative journalism, trying to find out, like my life depends on it, and I will risk everything so I can be the one to break it. Because who gives a and it's none of your business. What will be. Stay out of it, you prick.
So I don't know how I feel about that personally, because it is Ariel's job, but I mean, it also is none of his business, but he made it his business throughout his job as a journalist. So I would love to know what you guys think about that down below. We're going to take a look at some very interesting replies today.
Michael Bisping, who I see him talking about me with such vitriol, with such animosity, with such hatred, where he's talking about like, it's none of my business. And I'm dying to know, and I'm dying to be first. Well,
that's true though. No matter what Ariel says, that's true.
Well, hopefully the video that I posted of me walking outside at 2:30 would refute that, dying to be first. The idea that it's none of my business, it's quite literally my business to be reporting and be in the know.
But that's also a good point by Ariel. Like, he's made it his business, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's bad if you get to the point of like what happened between him, Dana White, and Brock Lesnar, that whole situation. That's when Ariel takes it a step too far. But to want to know what's going on with Conor McGregor right now, it's not like Dana said, hey, nobody can know about this. It's a huge secret. I don't know. Like, I understand both sides of this one.
It's journalism. And he says, like, I'm not trying to be some investigative journalist. Yeah, I know you're not trying to be some investigative journalist. You're a slap fighting commentator. You're a bootlicker. You're a former bad boy who became a bootlicker who wants to stay in good standing and has realized, like the likes of Ali.
I will say, though, like, Michael Bisping is more than a slap fighting commentator. He's a very accomplished UFC fighter, and he is a UFC MMA commentator, not just slap fighting. It's just a way to take a look at him. But I understand, too, good point by Ariel, that Michael Bisping has been on his best behavior for the most part.
He said it's better for you and your career in your pocket, and more power to you to be on Dana's good side. So if he could see these clips, he'll be like, good on you, Mike. And so you have chosen to pick a fight with me or to discredit me in order to curry favor with your boss, who gives you a few quid to commentate and be excited about slap fighting. To me,
but like, you know, I'll leave it at that, because there's a reply that will address this specifically that I completely agree with.
It's shameful, it's embarrassing, and that's why I refer to him as bootlicker Bisping now. And he can say whatever the fuck he wants about me.
Ooh, bootlicker Bisping. That's actually a good one by Ariel over here. But guys, on this channel over here, and this is what we like to do on these videos, not just take a look at my opinion, not just your opinion, but what are the top replies? What have been getting the most likes about all this? And it's not just from like in reply to championship rounds, it's in reply to the clip all over the place. Let me bring you to the first one. Didn't Helwani host a Jake Paul Mike Tyson press conference, yet he has a problem with slap fighting? That is kind of where I'm sitting at it. He's kind of throwing stones from a glass house, in my opinion. So that's where it gets really strange. And the reply to is too, I mean, that's embarrassing, but even as in the tier list of shameful sports debacles, Paul Tyson is still less cringe than slap fighting. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one. I would say that Paul Tyson is a little bit lower on the list than slap fighting, but then again, slap fighting is quite ridiculous, so I don't know. Let's continue on to another post by JMMA4. Ariel Helwani covering Jake Paul fighting Uber drivers on the same level as slap fighting. See, yeah, Ariel Helwani is really, really deep into that too. He's really on the Jake Paul train, and it's very clear that it's so far from what the MMA fans like, you know? Like, it's it's true, man. Let's keep going over here to DV 2024. Bisping is correct. Ariel, you are an MMA reporter. You aren't breaking Watergate. Whatever you report eventually comes out anyways. It's all just about you and aggrandizing your own image and stature. Now, this has some truth to it, to be honest with you. This does have some truth to it because that is definitely a motive by Ariel, and especially since he departed from the UFC, he's kind of just trying to be bigger than the UFC in that sense. He's trying to stick it to Dana White. He's trying to be as successful as possible, but he's also trying to be successful to be just successful in general, and he's trying to make money. So it's true, but there is more to that. So I understand what he's saying over here. Let's continue on. Yeah, not sure why Michael's coming across as salty. Ariel's just doing what he does. It is in fact his business and livelihood. That's also where I'm at. As long as he's not overstepping like he did with the Brock Lesnar thing, then I don't personally see an issue with it. But at the end of the day, Ariel also just wants to be the big bad guy who reports it first, and everybody goes to Ariel Helwani. But is there anything wrong with that? Not necessarily. Let's continue on. Ariel's so relevant in the space. He tries so hard to be relevant. I disagree with this. Ariel is very, very relevant. He's one of the biggest MMA reporters of all time, and that's just not true, to be honest, over here. So I want to bring you back over to MMA Ricky, which actually, fantastic MMA Twitter page if you guys want to go follow it. I really, really like what MMA Ricky usually has to say. I have to agree with Ariel on this one. Ariel is the only one who goes against Dana's narratives, and it definitely gets him in the crossfire a lot, like you see here. It's not his business, might be the dumbest thing that Bisping has said. It is his business, but it isn't. That's the thing. Does that make sense? Like, both guys are right when it comes to, like, it being none of your business. But, like, the only reason that Ariel goes against Dana's narratives is just because Ariel selfishly hates Dana White and wants to be bigger than the UFC. Like, I swear, like, if any fighter could just go against the UFC, Dana White said a mean thing to me, Ariel will be like, oh my God, he's such a piece of crap. Like, what's going on? So, that one, I love MMA Ricky, man. He has a great Twitter page, but I find myself disagreeing with him on this one in particular. Let's continue on to Antonio Esparza. I can promise you Ariel wouldn't say any of this to Bisping's face because Ariel would be in a coma. He's a keyboard warrior and nothing else. See, I don't know. Let's read the reply to this because this is also an interesting idea. So if you can win an argument, you must physically beat your opponent. How right a person is determined by whether they win in a fight. What kind of logic is this? Okay, like, I see both sides to it again. And this is why it makes for an interesting conversation. I would love to know what you guys think down below because it's true. The problem is that nobody has to face the repercussions for their actions anymore. Everybody is too free. And you can say it about myself. Everybody is too free. Like, I've been talking so much crap about Jon Jones. Everybody is so free to say whatever they want when in reality, in the old days, which could be argued to be the proper days, that wouldn't be the case. I would get beat up for the things I've been saying about Jon Jones. Jon Jones would come find me. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily... I wouldn't exactly count that out completely when you're talking about Jon Jones, but it's fair to criticize somebody, but Ariel is too tough doing that. That's the problem. Ariel is he's been too big. He feels too good about himself. He's too arrogant. It's okay to criticize people, but Ariel's kind of taking it to another level. That's kind of how I feel about it. Let's take a look at another reply from D. Man Yun. And this is the one that I wanted to bring you to earlier. This is the one that I completely agree with. Helwani would lick the dirt off of Dana's shoe to get back into the UFC media pass back. Imagine him saying this to Bisping face, no, we can't because it would never happen. It's incredibly difficult to like a guy who hates the UFC but makes a living off their brand. This is what I am agreeing with. And I wholeheartedly believe Helwani would lick the dirt off of Dana's shoes to get back into the UFC media. He would. Remember the crying fit that he took over? And this is something that he needs. I have a problem with Helwani because he hates on the UFC so much, and hates on Dana White so much, yet makes a living off of Dana White. Like, you should be thanking Dana White for what he built. That's kind of where I'm at with Ariel, and that's why I kind of have a little bit of an issue with it whenever he just kind of really digs at the UFC. And I thought this tweet was very well said, and I would love to know, again, what you guys think about this entire situation down below, because this is one of those things where I don't have a strong opinion on. I see both sides of it. I see both sides to Bisping, Ariel Helwani, and I see both sides to what a lot of people actually had to say today. And this is where, again, this makes for a very interesting comment section. So please, I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thank you very, very much for watching this video, guys. If you are interested, check out another Twitter thread that we took a look at from Joaquin Buckley and Cub Swanson. A little bit ridiculous, but still very, very fun to take a look at, guys. I will see you over there. Take care.